Okay, I'm presenting my screen, sharing my screen. Okay, I think it's visible to you.
Yes, ma'am.
So we'll start from whatever we have ended yesterday. So we'll start with COA, which is Council of Architecture, and this was constituted by GOI under the provision of Architects Act 1972. And this act provides for the registration of architects and matters which are connected with their colleges, qualification, and or the curriculum, courses, examination, and all. And there are some MHRD funded institutions, so they are classified into three categories. Again, based on which government is taking care of, either it is central government or state government, or they are self-financed institutions. So some of them are central government funded institutions, some of them are state government or state funded institutions, and some are self-financed autonomous bodies. So as a part of National Plan of Science and Technology, 5 centers of advanced study and research have been set up in the IITs. So we are here. There are 5. So for energy studies, there is IIT Delhi, which is working for this sector. Then for material science, it's IIT Kanpur. And for cryogenic engineering, it's IIT Kharagpur. For ocean engineering, it's IIT Madras. And for resource engineering, it is IIT Mumbai or Bombay. Now, National Institute of Technical Teachers Training Research, that is NITTTR. These training institutes and are specially dedicated to the polytechnics, which are again technically based institutions or colleges, polytechnics. So for their teachers and for research work in those sectors, these there are few institutes. So these are at Bhopal, Chandigarh, Chennai, Kolkata, and they were established in mid of 1960s for the training of polytechnic teachers to undertake activities in the area of education planning and management. Now there are some programs run for the teachers and students of polytechnics in technical education. So the first one is Technical Education Quality Improvement Program. It was launched by MHRD in 2002 to upscale and support the ongoing efforts in improving the quality of technical education. And they were implemented with the assistance of World Bank. So World Bank funded those programs. So if you are eligible for those programs, some fund will be given to you by World Bank. And then second is Technician Education Project 3. So it is again launched with the help of World Bank for upgradation of polytechnics in the country. Now there are some skill development programs in India. The main objective was to enhance the employability and to fill the gap between the educated one and employable one. Education qualification is a separate matter, or it is connected, but how much educated percentage is there in particular country and how much employed out of them is a different thing altogether. So the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship was created in 2014 to coordinate all skill development efforts across the country to increase this, employed person. So National Vocational Education Qualification Framework, NVEQF, which was later on assimilated into National Skill Qualification Framework, NSQS. So there are various councils and frameworks to look after all those ratios. So various sectors skill council is again SSCS are the developing qualification packs, and they set the standards and assessment mechanism in their respective domain in alignment with the needs of the industries. What industry want, what type of industry want, which type of qualification a person should have. So all those taken care by these institutes. Then there is BVOC degree program, that is the Bachelor of Vocational Training Education. So UGC launched this scheme to expand the scope of vocational education. The first one is Kaushal, Kaushal, Kaushal. So Deen Dayal Upadhyay Centers for Knowledge Acquisition and Upgradation of Skilled Human Abilities and Livelihood. That is the full form of Kaushal. This was incorporated, and these kendras there are certain kendra or centers formulate these courses at post-graduation levels also, keeping in mind the needs of a particular industry in that specialized area, or what type of designing or the curriculum or areas of skill development they need. And there is assessment of this skill development education and training. So also entrepreneurship. So all those things are taken care by this scheme Caution. Then some new government initiatives are there. That is GIAN, that is GIAN, Global Initiative for Academic Work. It aims at tapping the talent pool of scientists and entrepreneurs internationally. So because it is a global initiative for academic work, look after only the academic portion, only the theory portion. Then there is a skills assessment matrix for vocational advancement of youth somewhere. And SAMVAY, a credit framework somewhere is now in place, which allows vertical and lateral mobility within the vocational education system and between the current education system. So if somebody has done some diploma courses and he wants to apply like degree courses or some further qualification, so some direct entry will be there, so they can just jump to second year or third year as the norms of that particular institution or college has. So again, there is another abhiyan, which is Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. Okay, UBA. Unnat Bharat Abhiyan is something under this program, this IIT, IISER, some institutes and NITs, they adopt some villages and they develop appropriate, rural technologies for the sustainable development through some their locals or people's participation. So this again is enable processes that connect institutes of higher education with the local communities. So they may there may be some projects on water management or farming or some renewable energy or some infrastructure. So something like that they work. Then there is Sakshar Bharat Mission, which is for the adult literacy, and Pradhan Mantri Janadhan Yojana. So two yojanas are there under this Sakshar mission. Then there is a mission Pragati. Pragati is a scholarship for girl child for technical education. Then there is again a scholarship system, Swami Vivekananda scholarship for a single girl child. Means if a family is having only girl child, so they will give them scholarships. Then there is another council, CIHEC, that is Council for Industry Higher Education Corporation. This relates to creating linkages between the industry and the academic sections. And then there are some community colleges. They provide education above secondary level and below degree level with appropriate skills as per need of the local industry and community. So there are various schemes and sectors in which the working is in progress. Now, one important aspect is value education. So under this modernization or globalization, industrialization, some value education should be given so that there should be some check on like on what basis, on what cost they are. There is a development or modernization, so there should be some level to check. You have to go. You don't have to go beyond this limit. So controlling, there should be some value education also there. So first is individual's perspective to enable student to achieve personal fulfillment for the success in life and work. So how they proceed, how they work, what ethics they have to be in themselves. Then the societal perspective. So education aims to prepare the youth to contribute to the society, nation, and the world. So, because once Plato wrote in the Republic, this is the important uh, work what Plato had done. The mark of an educated person is the willingness to use one's knowledge and skills to solve the problem of the society. So, whatever modernization, industrialization, or any education system is like it's your personal development, but still there should be some, the basic is to solve the problems of the society. So, whatever problem you are facing at present or may face in the future, you must take care. All these things into mind and then proceed further. So there are few key elements in value education. Um, Few key developments in value education. The first one is National Commission of Secondary Education, which came into existence in 1952 to 53. It emphasized character building. Then there is a University Education Commission in 62, which focused on spiritual training. And then there is a Education Commission of in the year 64 to 66, which put the spotlight on education and national development. So in various sectors they are working. Then there is NPE in 1986, which advocates turning education into a forceful tool for the cultivation of social and moral values. And this education should...
This NP is National Policy of Education, right, ma'am?
Yes, national planning. Then again, there is a second version of NPA in 1992, which tries to integrate the various components of value education into the curriculum at all the stages of school education, including the secondary stage. So then there is a Chauhan committee report in 1999, which also again provided this, to resume work on value education of system. So continuous, there is some check or some improvement or some addition to this value education. Then there is a national curriculum framework for school education in 2000, because this development or the inclusion of this moral values should be at the basic level, not at the college level or in higher studies. You should be, your base and foundation should be, based on some ethics, some moral values. So this curriculum advanced a plea to integrate value education into the curriculum, more edition. Then again, there is a curriculum framework in 2005 version, which articulates the need of to reaffirm our commitment to the concept of quality amidst in diversity, then mutual interdependence of human to promote values that for peace, for humanness, and of course tolerance in a multicultural society, because we are in multicultural society. So we have some respect, some duties, some rules, to follow. So again, there is a particularly emphasizes education for the peace as one of the national and global concern. So this is the main thing, the peace. There should be peace externally as well as internally. So that are the things. Then there is main issues behind the need for imparting value education. Why? So tradition versus modernity. So you have to balance both the things. So developing societies like we are having in our country, uh, they must face somewhere or some point conflict between the tradition and modernization. So there are many things positive about our traditional culture, which needs to be appreciated and followed, of course, understood. And then there should be some such tolerance of dissonance, harmony, rather than the control over the environment. And there should be some modesty, some cooperation, duty, acceptance also. So and because we are in a period of globalization, diversity, inclusivity, environment concerns also, they're exploding, world of a science and technology, like it's how the science and technology are used is again a question of values. So application of this technology is should be more human and rational way, and is related to moral and ethical responsibilities. Otherwise, there is no limit. You can cross your limits and go beyond the main concern, which is humanity, our environment, our nature, and for the human also. So, and again, there is a duty of mass and social media, because this we are in a contemporary society, is the inclusion of mass media into day-to-day life of all the society. So values and attitudes that get transmitted are rather contrary to the values desired by the family, society, or school. So there should be a balance. There should be a proper, coordination between these two, which are adverse to each other. If you, it's not. If I'm saying this, nothing wrong in that. So. There are three trends in higher education system in India. The next topic. So general courses which are here in the various institutions, apart from this technical or science related, there are arts and sciences, means some social science or some home science, and commerce, which accounts for the majority, like 80% of the student enrollments are in this field. So engineering, of course, has increasingly strengthened its position. And this degree granting courses have seen greater enrollment with regard to diploma and certificate courses. So higher enrollment will be in general courses, in degree courses, and enrollment of students in post-graduation programs has declined as compared to enrollment in undergraduate courses. So graduations in general courses are maximum, and then under PG levels they are lesser as compared to UG level. And the percentage of students in unaided private higher education institutions has also increased considerably within few decades. The percentage of students, because they don't get admission in government colleges, then they opt for the private ones. So there has been a rapid growth in the number of professional private higher educational institutions. Now there is a All India Survey on Higher Education, which we call AISHE. Now MHRD initiated this AISHE in the year 2010 and 11 with reference date of filling up the data capture format DCF data capture format, which institutions are rising, which institution has according to the which follows the tracks of UGC, AICTE, or to which it belongs to, and what are the criteria they are fulfilling, what are the courses, and what is the quality of their education system, how much employment they are giving to their students, how much employment security is there. So that way they grade the various institutions to build a robust database and to access the correct picture of higher education in the country. And there is a teacher's information format also, which was added for the first time in 2016 and 17. And the survey is being conducted on annual basis. So accordingly, they grade the various institutions. So this report, ASHE report 2018-19, says that there are 962 universities.
Ma'am, in the previous slide, All India Survey on Higher Education,
Yes.
here the teachers, the students, and also the ratio of student teacher and all that is checked, right?
Yes.
Examination rules and results and things like that.
And also like
And there are some terms here like the pupil to teacher ratio and the gross enrollment ratio and things like that. Gender parity index. Those terms might be helpful if we know them, ma'am, what they mean. Pupil to teacher ratio is like straightforward, the number of students to the number of teachers, right? 1 is to how many students? And gross enrollment ratio and gender parity index, those two terms might be helpful if you can explain that.
which two terms here?
Gross enrollment ratio.
Gross enrollment ratio is the total ratio, in whatever be the year, whatever be the it depends whether it is UG level or PG level or polytechnics, and gross is total value, like how many students are enrolled for education field. So it depends if what type of you are asking about. So that
If
way.
we can we consider it like this, like between a certain age group, like, or if we consider the education levels, primary, secondary, higher,
Yes,
things
yes,
like that.
that's what I'm saying. It depends which enrollment you are asking for. Is it a school level, pre-primary, middle school, or the total gross?
The number of children who are in that age group to number of children who are enrolled in schools and are studying.
Hmm.
Is that gross enrollment ratio?
Okay, you are
Number of children in that age category and the number of children who are enrolled in schools. I think I'm trying to correlate with the word because there's not much information
no.
about that.
Ratio means it is given like what ratio you want. So accordingly, this will come into picture. It may be boy or girl enrollment. It may be age group of certain.
There's
Uh,
one more called gender parity index.
okay, gen parity is I think gender based. You know, it may be male, female, or
Yeah, like male to female ratio, like how many males versus to how many females in each class or something like that.
yes.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so according to this report, there are 962 approximate figure is there, because if there is again a survey in the coming, I mean, after this 2019, the figure will be slightly more or less same. So don't stick to this numbers, but approximately you remember the universities are 962, colleges are 38,000, more than 38,000. Then standalone institutions are around 9,000. And exclusively for women universities, there are 16 universities. And among all those, Uttar Pradesh has the highest student enrollment, because the population wise, if you say, if you go, then Uttar Pradesh has the highest population. So highest enrollment of the students will be from Uttar Pradesh. Then Bangalore urban tops in terms of number of colleges, because there are 880 colleges, and after that I think it's Rajasthan. Some 600 or 500, 500, in between 500 and 600 colleges are there. So the key issues facing spread of higher education in India, the next topic. There are five main goals for higher education. Accessibility, how much the student can access to that particular institution. Then equity involves fair access to the poor and the rich people, or socially disadvantaged group of to the higher education. Then quality and excellence, how much quality of education they are getting, how many qualified teachers and professors are there. And then relevance, how much it is related to their interest or need. And then value based education, this involves inculcating basic moral values among the youth. So as UGC guideline, the student teacher ratio should be 30:1. There should be one teacher for 30 students. But the current scenario is that it is high as 100:1. So one teacher teaches 100 students in some of the states. So this should be taken into consideration. Then a different topic, which is governance, polity, and administration. Now, governance, polity, and administration have their origin in the constitution of the country. So, what the constitution says, what the laws and rules and regulations says. So, accordingly, the government, the polity, the education system, all the systems, all the streams should work accordingly. So, first there is some introduction of the constitution. So defining constitution means it's a living document and instrument that makes the government system to work. Not only government, all the sectors. It may be private, or maybe some autonomous body or public sectors, private sectors, education system. Everything covers in this constitution. You have to follow certain laws, certain rules, or judiciary also. So the Constitution of United States of America, which was written in 1787, this is the first written constitution, United States, USA, Constitution of USA. And the Magna Carta of Constitution, the year is 2015 because it completed 800 years of this Magna Carta is of Constitution is basically the UK Constitution, and it is considered as mother of all constitutions and fundamental rights. So this Magna Carta, 800 years it completed in 2015. So I will show you the next text. Slide wise, that much is there. So we'll go. Now it is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now the Constituent Assembly, this idea to have this constitution was given by M.N. Roy, a political philosopher. And this Constitution Assembly of India in 1946 to write this Constitution of India under this Assembly of India in 46 to write this Constitution of India under the Cabinet Mission Plan. So it took place on 9th of December 1946, and Dr. Sachidananda Sinha was elected as its ad hoc chairman. So remember his name, Dr. Sachidananda Sinha, ad hoc chairman. Okay. And on 11th of December 1946, Rajendra Prasad was elected as the permanent chairman of Constituent Assembly. And 13th of December 46, the objective resolution was introduced by Jawaharlal Nehru, and which later became the basis of preamble of our constitution. So it was written by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru in 1946. And then Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar was elected as the chairman of drafting committee. Now, Constituent Assembly approved the Constitution on 11th of November 1949, and this Constitution came into effect on 26th of January 1950. So this Constituent Assembly took 2 years, 11 months, and 8 days to complete the Constitution. And then after that, this India became the Republic on the same day, 26th January 1950. So initially it had 395 articles in 22 parts and 8 schedules, which are presently 12. And G.V. Malvankar became the first Speaker of Legislative Assembly. So these are the few names and dates you should remember. And Constituent Assembly was to comprise of 389 members, of which as many as 296 of them were to be elected from the British India, and 93 of them were to be the representatives of the native states. Now then, some salient features of the Constitution. So there are several sources such as a preamble, which was inspired by a French declaration of rights of man and citizen, fundamental rights by American Bill of Rights, and the directive principles by Irish constitutions, and the federal step by American government, as well as the Act of 1935. So there are this thing, if possible, just remember what important features are taken from which constitution or from which government. So some of the prominent features is that the first, there are 14, 15, or I don't know, 11. Yes. So the first one is federal or dual polity. So India has both central and state governments, right? And they have their separate spheres of functioning and are not subordinate to each other in federal polity. But and for a federal setup to work, there must be a written, supreme, and a rigid constitution. So with the powerful and independent, they are having Supreme Court, which is most powerful, and it should be independent. So India has all this. So it is federal in the form in normal times, but unitary in spirit. In case of emergency, it is a unit body, single authority. And second one is the lengthiest constitution in the world. So our constitution is lengthiest in the world, and it contains details of both central and state governments. Then third one is sovereign, socialist, and democratic republic. So it is sovereign because its government is not subject to any outside authority, and it is socialist because it has a mixed economy, and is secular as there is no state religion. The state treats all the religions equally, and it is democratic as its rulers are elected by the people and are responsible to them. And it is republic as it has an elected head of the state. The fourth one is parliamentary form of government. So India has a parliamentary form of government. This means the executive's post or executive authority, prime minister and his council of ministers, is responsible to the legislature, to the parliament. So the three constituents of parliament are president, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So the president of the union is the constitutional head of the state. So the head of the constitution is president of India, and the prime minister is considered as the head of the government for making rules, regulation, policies, and his council of ministers. Then a blend of flexibility and rigidity. So usually the process of amendment of this Indian constitution is simple, and it requires only a majority in the parliament. But in cases involving the government of the states, the process of amendment is more complicated because the head of each state government has their own opinion, or they may interfere in that, and requires the consent of at least half the state legislatures. Then sixth one is fundamental rights. So these are contained in part third of Constitution. The fundamental rights are in the form of restrictions on the power of government, because the people are having some rights, so they can use them, but they are protected by the Supreme Court. Then seventh one is directive principles of state policy. So these principles are in the spirit of modern welfare state. So these are contained in part 4, and it defines the aim of the government, their aims and their objectives. They aim to set up a socialistic state in India in which all the basic needs are met by the government, and they are enforceable by the Supreme Court. So Supreme Court has the authority has, to check what functions or what policies are there, and are they useful for the public, or is it there is some obstructions is there, or it doesn't, they may not cause any harm to the people of the country. So there are different schemes which are launched by the government, are actually inspired by the directive principles of the state. Then universal adult suffrage, that is the franchisee. So franchisee or suffrage means the right to vote. In India, anybody above the age of 18 years can vote without qualifications of sex or property, or how much tax you are paying, how much qualification you have, or you are literate or not illiterate. So without this type of thing, you can vote. But the main thing is you should be above age of 18 years. Then independent judiciary. The Indian Supreme Court is independent and impartial, and it safeguards the fundamental rights and settles disputes between the centers and state, between the public and the government, and between the public and public. So this is the supreme power. Now, single citizenship, because we in India, single citizenship states that any person who voluntarily acquire the citizenship of any other country is not an Indian citizen any longer. The dual citizenship is not there. Single citizen, you can either be Indian citizen or a foreign citizen or any other country citizen. Then there are some fundamental duties. So these were introduced by the 42nd Amendment in 1976, and they are intended to balance the rights. You should not, the people should not, misuse their fundamental rights. So there is a check for the rights that are fundamental duties. So, however, they are also not justiciable, it is written here. Now we'll go for the next topic, which is preamble of the Constitution. What is the introductory phase, or what is the preparatory statement for the Constitution? So the draft of this preamble was prepared by Jawaharlal Nehru, and it is based on American model. And the preamble states that we, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens. So the first is like justice in terms of social, economic, and political affairs. You should get justice. Then liberty, there is a liberty of thought, liberty of expression, belief, faith, and worship. So it depends on your own choice. You can follow or you can believe. You have believe in any culture or any particular association or organization or religion. Then equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote them among all. So there is equal opportunities to everyone to achieve or go for a particular field or qualification or business, anything, whatever they want, you can go for it. Then fourth one is fraternity, by assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. So this you have to assure by doing anything, by speaking or by your act, you should maintain this dignity. So in our Constituent Assembly, 26th of November 1949, they hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. So through the 42nd Amendment in 1976, the words secular and socialist were added to the Constitution. So this 42nd Amendment is termed as the mini Constitution, as many amendments were affected in the Constitution. So this is some brief snapshot, you can say, of our Constitution. The part 1 article this will show the territory, admission, establishment, or formation of new states. Then part 2, 5 to 11 article deals in citizenship. You should remember the fundamental rights. That is in part 3, article 12 to 35. And others are, you just go through, I'll share it with you. This election and election commission will be covered in part this 15, article 324 to 329, this election and election commission. Then official languages in this, emergency provision in this, and this 42nd amendment will be part 4A and article 51A. So this is the duties of citizen of India, and this was aided by the 42nd amendment in 1976. So these are few important ones. You should remember this. Now then, there is a schedules in Constitution of India. The first schedule gives this list of states and territories. So there are different schedules which we have seen. This 8th schedule gives the 22 languages of India recognized by the constitutions. So what are these 22 languages? You should remember the number 22 languages. Okay. And out of them, the Sindhi was added in 67 by 21st Amendment. And Konkani, Manipuri, and Nepali were added in 92 by 71 Amendment. Then Santhali, Maithili, Bodo, Dogri were added in 2003 by 92nd Amendment. Now, one important thing, is there any official language in India? So, officially, India has no official language. The official language of the Union Government of Republic of India is Hindi, while English is the secondary language. So, the Constitution of India states that the official language of the Union shall be Hindi in Devanagari script, which was supported by High Court ruling. And however, languages listed in English schedule of Indian Constitution are sometimes referred to without legal standing as the national language of India. But it is just accepted. Now, fundamental rights, as we have seen, they are in part 3 of Indian Constitution, 1949, from Article 12 to 35. Now, the frame of this fundamental rights of Indian Constitution borrowed it from USA. So, Part 3 of Constitution is rightly described as the Magna Carta of India. So, remember this. This is Magna Carta of India. The Magna Carta of Constitution is British Constitution, and Magna Carta of India is Part 3 of the Constitution. And the fundamental rights are guaranteed by the Constitution to all the person without any discrimination. So it is for all. So this are named because they are guaranteed and protected by the Constitution, which is the fundamental law of land. Originally, the right to property was also included in the fundamental rights. However, the 44th Amendment, passed in 1978, revised the status of property rights by stating that no person shall be deprived of his or her property save by authority of law. So no person shall be deprived of his or her property save by the authority of law. If there is any, legally, if you are having some property, nobody can has the authority to deprive you. Now, what are the fundamental rights? So in Article 14, 15, 16, and 17, there are right to equality. Right to equality, Article 14 says equality before law and equal protection of law. So before law, all are equal. So Article 15 say prohibition of discrimination on the ground of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, no matters. All are equal. Article 16 says equality of opportunities in matters of public employment. So for government, the opportunity given for the employment should be equal, no discrimination. Then Article 17 says end of untouchability. Before independence or before the British came, there was, this is a very crucial issue, very, big social, you can say, weakness. Our society has this weakness, this untouchability. So this Article 17 ends this untouchability, and then Article 18 says abolition of titles, military and academic distinctions are, however, exempted. Like earlier, there some titles are given to some, um, pronoun persons, a famous person, Sir, or Badshah, Bahadur, or something like that. So this type of titles were abolished. Then there is right to freedom. Article 19 says it guarantees the citizen of India the following 6 fundamental freedoms: freedom of speech and expression, freedom of assembly, you can assemble at a place which are assigned to that, and to form associations, freedom of movement, you can move anywhere within the country without any permission. Then freedom of residence and settlement, you can buy your property in any states of India, except 2 or 3 because of some reasons. And then freedom of profession, freedom of occupation, freedom of trade and business. You can opt any profession, and you can go for business in any field you want to. Then Article 20 says protection in respect of conviction for offenses. And then 21 says protection of life and personal liberty. And protection, Article 22 is for protection against arrest and detention in certain areas. Then there is a right against exploitation,
Ma'am, I think the next teacher has joined. We have a class coming up at 12.
Okay, so we'll continue tomorrow, and tomorrow will be the last class.
Okay, ma'am.